Hey everybody, it's Bolshi here, back with another Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous build video. If you like this build, make sure you like and subscribe. It will really help me grow the channel. Today's build is going to be what I call the Hype Man. Now, whether you're taking the stage or charging into combat with a bunch of otherworldly demons, everybody needs somebody to get them fired up, to get their adrenaline flowing and ready for action. And no class is better suited to getting your guys pumped up than the Skald. The Skald class is such an amazing buffer that even when I'm doing my demo videos and I want to show the maximum potential of a build, I leave out the Skald buffs because they're so strong they can take a mediocre build and make it look godly. In addition to being an amazing support and buffing class, it also packs a pretty powerful punch in melee as well. Let's take a look. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into this build. Now we are going to be taking all 20 levels in the Skald class with no archetype. The archetypes are really not as strong as the base class in my opinion. Now before we do that, let's take just a brief overview of the Skald class. It's a hybrid between the Bard and the Barbarian. So rather than performing songs that inspire his allies, the Skald actually inspires rage. So let's see, that is right here, inspire rage. We get rounds of performance just like a bard does, but those rounds are going to be spent inspiring rage, giving our allies bonuses to hit and damage, and also bonuses to will saving throws. So basically just like barbarian rage, we're going to be giving that to our allies. We also down the line get rage powers, and when we inspire rage, our allies are also going to benefit from these rage powers. And this is where the Skald really gets crazy. Because barbarian rage powers are some of the strongest abilities in the game, especially with some of the new Mythic mechanics. We are going to be building this guy as kind of a melee off tank, and one of the big reasons why is that Skalds are proficient with light, medium armor, and shields, and they can cast their spells with no chance of failure, even if they're using medium armor and shields. That's a very rare thing in the game. So we're going to be building this guy, and also you can see we get a bunch of Skald talents that we can trade in for feats. So we get quite a few feats. Despite being an excellent utility and buffer class, they actually make a pretty solid melee combatant as well. So we are going to take this first level in Skald. Race, there's a couple of really good races that benefit this class. I would go with either Tiefling Pitborn or ASMR Angelkin. Both of those give us nice bonuses to strength and charisma. For this build, because later on I'm going to be going Demon, Mythic Path, I'm going to choose the Tiefling Pitborn here. Background, whatever you want. We're going to go 19 strength. This is a very melee focused build. 16 charisma. We're also going to go 15 dexterity for the 2-weapon fighting feat line. I'm going to bump Persuasion and use Magic Device. Persuasion is a must though for the build. There's actually one feat that we can't get unless we have high Persuasion. Our first level feat is going to be Power Attack. And you know, at this level, taking a penalty to hit with a guy who has a low BAB is not the greatest option, but this is going to be a prerequisite for something we're going to take later. And after we get buffed up, this guy has reasonable attack bonus, so this will be some nice added damage. We're also going to get a bonus feat for free. We're going to take Combat Casting. That's going to allow us to cast spells in combat without getting attacks of opportunity against us, or at least making those attacks of opportunity less likely. Now, this build is not going to be focused on CC. A Bard and Skald can make really good enchanter characters that can do mind control things and fear effects and things like that, but that takes feat investment, and we're not going to do that. So what we're really looking for here are buffs for ourselves and for our allies. I'm going to take Unbreakable Heart. This will suppress, well, first of all, it gives you a morale bonus on mind affecting effects that rely on negative emotions, so, you know, crushing despair, rage, fear effects, and also it will suppress those effects if somebody in your party gets one and you cast this on them. So that's very helpful. Vanish is really nice to get people out of combat. As an off tank, if they start attacking your squishies or your ranged characters, you can cast Vanish on them. That's helpful. Expeditious Retreat is always nice for movement speed. We're going to get a lot of these spells eventually, though. All right, second level, another level in Skald. No surprises there. All of our levels are going to go in Skald. Now, I'm going to also pick up one of these knowledge skills because we get to take 10 on them later, so could be helpful. We're going to take weapon focus, and I'm going to go with scimitar. What we really want here is a high crit weapon. So scimitars, maybe a rapier. Long swords are pretty good. They have a decent crit range because later on we're going to want a high crit weapon. So for right now, I'm going to take scimitar. Let's see here. Ear-piercing scream can be pretty helpful in the beginning. Give some damage and a daze effect. Third level, we are going to take dazzling display. This is leading up to something that we're going to be using a lot later. But also right now with our high charisma, this is a pretty decent use of a round action. Dazzling display, by the way, intimidates all the enemies around you that can see you within a 30-foot radius, so that's very nice. Here we go, our first rage power, lethal stance. In addition to the normal bonuses that our allies are going to get just from raging, we're now going to add +1 competence bonus to attack rolls, and then another +1 for every 4 levels we have. When you get to level 20, this is going to be a +6 competence bonus to hit, and that stacks with all our other bonuses from rage. So very strong ability there. Take Vanish here. Level 4, bump up your strength. Skald again, skills out of the way. Level 2 spells, solid buffs here. Mirror Image and Sense Vitals. Mirror Image will improve your survivability. You're going to be in the front line. Sense Vitals add some sneak attack damage to all of your attacks. So this is a good buff to your damage. We also pick up Uncanny Dodge, so we can no longer be caught flat-footed. Level 5 Skald. Our feat at level 5 is going to be Intimidating Prowess. Since we have such high strength, we're now going to be adding our strength modifier as well as our charisma modifier to intimidate. Second level spells, oh, you know, I forgot. You might want to prioritize heroism over one of these because being able to pick up heroism as a second level spell kind of gives bards and skalds a advantage over other buffing classes. Heroism is a great buff to have early game. Level 6, skills out of the way. We get another rage power. Now we're going to be going with Beast Totem, Lesser Beast Totem. On its own, this doesn't give us a whole lot, but it's going to build to something that's really great later. Another second level ability here. Invisibility is good for the same reason Vanish is. It can get your party out of combat. Even though I said we weren't going to do CC, Glitter Dust is so good that in the early game you might want to take it. Rage will stack with your Inspire Rage because it's a morale bonus to strength specifically, so that's another option there as well. We picked up Song of Strength that level as well, which is you can use your Skald performance rounds to improve strength-based skill checks, like athletics checks and things. Skills out of the way. Our feat is going to be, our first one is going to be Outflank. This is nice to have for all your melee. Gives you +2 bonus while flanking. You regularly get +2. Outflank takes it up to +4. And we also get, whenever somebody with Outflank crits, you get an attack of opportunity. So altogether, one of the best melee feats in the game. We're going to take Combat Trick, and now we're going to take Cornagon Smash. Whenever you damage somebody with power attack, you get to intimidate them as a free action. And since we have high strength, high charisma, both of those things get added to our intimidate checks, we're now going to be intimidating enemies for our party. At this point, remove fear is decent. You might want to invest in summon spells just for battlefield fodder. Get an extra planar dog out there to take some attacks. Summon spells are always helpful. Third level, we definitely want to get Good Hope. This is iconic Bard and Skald spell. +2 morale, saving throws, attack rolls, ability checks, skill checks, and specifically damage rolls. So this is better than heroism. And also, you only cast it once, and it affects all of your allies around you. So saves a lot of spell use. Also, since we're probably the buffer, you want haste. Level 8, bump up your strength again. All of our points are going in strength. I'm just going to stick with these 3 skills. We get another 3rd level spell. Since your frontline displacement is a good buff to keep you alive. Level 9, we're going to take Skald again. No surprises there. Level 9, we're going to take Shatter Defenses. And what Shatter Defenses does is when you attack an enemy that is shaken or frightened, they're flat-footed, which means they don't get their dexterity bonus to AC. This really makes things easier to hit. Since we got Cornagun Smash at level 7, I believe it was, Cornagun Smash here, everything we attack is going to be shaken. So this is great. This is also a great feat to pick up on your other allies in the party because your Skald is going to be doing your intimidation for you. We're going to take Beast Totem as our rage power. This is going to give us a +1 natural armor bonus that stacks with everything else, plus an additional 1 for every 4 levels. So when we hit level 20, this is going to be +6 AC for everybody in the party, which is very good. At this point, if you need Delay Poison, hopefully you have a Divine Caster that can cast that for you. Thundering Drums for damage, some healing is decent, but we already have the good spells, so you can get whatever you want here. Level 10, Skald. Get some more 2nd level spells. At this point I would take Rage. We get our 4th level spells. I like to go Greater Invisibility. This is going to allow you to get your bonus to hit, you get Concealment, you get Sneak Attack if you have Sneak Attack as a class, and either Freedom of Movement or Break Enchantment here. We also get Dirge of Doom. Even though we're intimidating things single target with Cornagun Smash, if you want to, you can pop this out for an AoE shaken effect that has no saving throw, so that's nice. Level 11. Our feat at level 11, we can now pick up Improved Critical. I chose Scimitar for my weapon in this build. 1st level spells are probably not going to use a whole lot there. I really like Break Enchantment. It's nice when one of your party gets CC'd or something to have that on hand. Level 12, get some strength, get some skills, and now we get Greater Beast Totem. This is going to allow us, when we're inspiring rage to our party, everybody gets the Pounce special ability, so they can make a charge and a full attack action at the end of that charge. Combine this with Mythic Charge ability, and this really ramps up the damage for your entire party. We're also going to take Combat Trick, 2-weapon fighting. At this point, you could use 2 weapons, but we're really going to build up to shield bashing build in just a minute here. Cure Critical Wounds is nice. All right, level 13. Get some skills. Our level 13 feat is going to be Shield Bash. Spells here, we haven't picked up Dispel Magic, might as well take that. It's good for getting things off your allies, things off enemies. Since we're buffing, we're going to go with Greater Heroism. And there's really a lot of good spells, enchantment spells coming up, but we really didn't invest any feats in making those spells effective, so I'm not going to go with any of those. I'm going to go with Heroism and maybe Summon Monster here. Level 14, some more feats. Spells. Our other level 5 spell, I'd probably go with Greater Dispel Magic. At level 15, Skald. We're going to get our skills out of the way. Our feat is actually going to be Dreadful Carnage. Now this is going to intimidate everything around us whenever we get a kill. Since this guy is kind of a dedicated intimidator, that's what we're going to go with. Our rage power here is going to be Deadly Accuracy, and this is going to allow us to apply double the lethal stance bonus to confirming crits. It's good, but what we get from this later is really good. Might as well. We can now cast some fireballs, lightning bolts, some evocation spells here with the shadow evocation spell. That couldn't hurt. Like I said, I'm steering clear of the enchantment spells. You could modify this build to make it work with enchantment, but you'd have to give up a lot of your melee abilities. I like Dimension Door. It's just a fun spell, gets you around the room. Shout is nice. I'm going to go with Dimension Door here. Brilliant Inspiration is my first pick for level 6 spells. This basically lets you roll all your d20s twice and take the better result, and this lasts until you get a natural 20. It's really unpredictable how long it's going to last, but it never seems like it lasts as long as you want it to. Still a good buff though, and I'll also go with Greater Shout. Overwhelming Presence is pretty amazing for a bard spell at 6th level. This is usually a 9th level spell, but again, like I said, we didn't invest. We're not investing feats, we're not investing mythic feats in enchantment, so I'm going to steer clear of that and pick up Greater Shout instead. Level 17, we're going to pick up Shield Master as our first feat, Combat Trick, Bashing Finish. Shield Master gives us, it takes away all penalties for dual wielding with a shield. And we also, I believe, we get to add our enhancement bonus from the shield. So if you have a shield +5, you get to add that to attack and damage rolls. So one of the strongest feats for a shield bashing build. Bashing Finish allows us to get a free shield bash attack whenever we crit with our main hand. So since we chose Scimitar, which has just normally a 15% chance to crit, and then improved critical takes that to 30%, we're going to be getting a lot of extra shield bash attacks. And they just got a lot more accurate by taking Shield Master. So a very strong level for improving our melee abilities here. We take Thundering Drums there. Here I'm going to take the Summons next. Our Rage Power, this is our last Rage Power at level 18, which is Lethal Accuracy. This is going to increase our critical multiplier for everybody in the party by 1. If you have builds that are built for crit, heavy melee, or ranged, this is amazing. And that's why we took all those other feats to lead up to this point. Summon Elemental. Level 19, our last feat is going to be, with all these shield bash attacks going out, I'm going to go with Double Slice. You could also go with if you put on a belt, you could get improved 2-weapon fighting, get yourself an extra attack with your shield. But if your strength gets high enough, this is actually more damage. Summon Large Elemental. Phantasmal Web is okay to throw out. It never hurts. If enemies make their save, that's fine. It can't affect your party. So up to you on that one. And finally, level 20. We're going to take our last level on Skald. Get our skills. We didn't get that many skills, but I think everything else we get from this class more than makes up for that. And maybe at this point now you take Overwhelming Presence just to have. And our capstone ability is probably the best capstone ability that I've seen so far. Skald's Inspired Rage no longer gives allies a penalty AC, nor does it limit what skills or abilities they can use. So now you can have everybody enraged, getting all those buffs from your rage powers, just the regular bonuses of rage, and they can still cast spells and class abilities. Also, while you're raging, everybody gets haste. And just to recap everything we get while our Skald is Inspiring Rage, we get a +6 competence bonus to hit from Lethal Stance. We get +6 natural armor. We get the ability to pounce. We also get a improved critical multiplier. Everybody can cast spells, and everybody's hasted. And by the way, this is a swift action starting at 13th level that costs you nothing to keep up, except for your rounds per level that you normally have. Which I think at this level, without investing any extra feats, we get 44 rounds per day of rage. So you can pretty much use this for every single combat encounter. I should also point out that currently in the game, extra performance, the feats that give you extra rounds per day, and lingering performance don't work with the Skald, and that's why I didn't take them. If lingering performance worked with the Skald Inspire Rage, I would definitely take that. I would actually take that at level 13 as soon as I get Swift Action Raging Song. For Mythic abilities and feats, this is what I chose, and this is on some mercenary that I made. I went with Abundant Casting for the first. I also went with, if you're going to do a main character, since it's a melee character, I would probably go From the Abyss to get the extra horn attack. Mythic Power Attack is our first feat.
leading strike. This is going to mark a target every time you hit it with melee, and if an ally attacks that target, they get to do 1d6 divine damage per mythic rank. So a lot of damage here, and it kind of fits the theme of buffing and supporting the party. Improved critical with scimitars. At about mythic rank 5 is where that greater beast totem, the pouncing ability, comes from. And you get to add a d6 of divine damage per mythic rank to every one of those attacks in a pounce. And by the way, if you're going to run a Skald in your party, everybody probably wants to pick this up because it's a really huge source of damage. And then mythic rank 6, I took 2-weapon fighting, which basically gives me +2 to attack at all times. This is as far as I got in the game. This is my actual companion. I didn't really use this guy too much, but these are the abilities and feats that I went with. For gear, nothing special. I haven't really gotten far enough in the game to get anything super good, but we do have a helmet that increases rage bonuses. That's nice. This is special. This gives everybody in a 30-foot aura an additional +2 to attack and damage when enraged. So this is perfect for a Skald. Everybody's going to get the rage powers, and this additional +2 to attack and damage. Ring of Hindering Courage, Ring of Protection +5. Bracers of Heavy Hand gives me some damage to my offhand attacks. Natural Armor +4. I think this was a vendor item in Chapter 4. +5 Chainmail that gives you a bonus to Intimidate. Don't know why I have that. Constitution Belt, Intimidation Gloves, Free Movement Boots. Pretty straightforward. This is a nice little scimitar you get in Act 3. And then a Shield Bash shield from a vendor. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this build in action. Now, the real strength of this character is his ability to support and buff your party, especially if you have a melee-based party. But you can see that he's going to do some pretty solid damage on his own. We'll pop the Raging Song there. Get this in the right spot. Okay, so here we go. Also, that animation for Life Bane is amazing. And let's get a charge off. One of the reasons I dislike Dreadful Carnage is because of this. Like, you can't really see what's going on. It spams your chat and screen with dazzling display stuff. And looking back through our combat log, we can see, for example, these Intimidate checks, +62 to Intimidate against DCs of 37. You basically never fail, so long as things aren't immune, which a lot of things are. Early game, though, that intimidation stuff is very, very helpful. And we can also see some pretty good damage from crits. When you get a crit, you're also getting an extra shield bash, so that's like another 100 damage there. All in all, pretty strong melee. Now, like I said, the real power of this build comes from its ability to buff melee. So you could go with, for example, in this clip here, I think I've got a dual-wield trickster build that is fully optimized for melee, and add on to that basically all the good things about being a barbarian on top of an entirely different class. It gets pretty ridiculous. All right, that's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.